You may be thinking, what do I need to do to start transition from being poor to reach that financial freedom that I've been looking for? Well, there's no one formula of getting wealthy, but most wealthy people and self-made millionaires do practice these type of habits that I'm going to share with you. A few years back, I myself used to live from paycheck to paycheck. So one thing I noticed that I was supposed to do is I need to get control of my finance. So I start reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, 10X by Grant Cardone, and any other article that I was reading online. In addition, I also even start watching videos on YouTube like this one. So I can start learning what am I need to do with my finance and how can I reach that ultimate goal of being wealthy down the road. So in this video, I'm gonna be walking you through 8 habits that hopefully will help you to reach the financial freedom and allow you to transition from being poor to being wealthy and boost your personal finance. So let me walk you through each one of them one by one. The first habit you need to start practicing to boost your financial freedom is number 1, save before you spend. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Let's assume this is your saving and this is your expense. The first thing you need to do is you gotta go make money. Let's assume you went to work and you made $100. The first thing you need to do, you gotta pay yourself first before you spending that money on any other expense. So here's what you need to do is, if you made $100, you're gonna take 20% of the income that goes into saving. And then 80% of that remaining goes to expense, which can cover your home rent, can cover your car loan, it can cover your insurance, and any other expense that you may have. By teaching yourself this type of habit, you will start learning to start saving. What poor people are doing today is when they get to work, they make $100. That's what people are doing. Millions of people are in America. 63% of the American population, that's what they're doing into the market. What they're doing is they go to work and they make $100. Once they make that money, and instead of taking that money and put it into saving, they take all the saving and money they put it into expense. And that's the mistake that people are doing today. You gotta start learning and teaching yourself to start putting aside money for saving. Before you start spending any money or before you start taking that money into any other expense to pay any debt, you gotta start putting into saving. That's the most thing. And one tip I want to share with you to teach yourself to start saving money. Let's assume you have $20 in saving. What the best thing you can do is you gotta take this $20, for example, and put it somewhere where you cannot reach. So meaning, if you are in today and you need money badly, you gotta keep this money far away so you have hard time reaching that money. So that way, it will keep your money saved somewhere else so you can use this saved money for future investment, which I'm gonna get to that later on. Number 2 habit, stay away from debit. Carrying a lot of debit can be one of the most mistakes you can make. Some debit are good to help you reach that financial freedom, but most debit can keep you away from reaching that financial or being wealthy down the road. Like for example, credit card, student loan, and any other expense or even any other subscription fee that you are paying today that you are supposed to be eliminating. So let me show you, for example, if you can save at least $20, if your expense is much lower and you can save at least $20, you can take $20 from your expense and put that toward saving. Now you have $40 in saving and the remaining is an expense. By doing this practice, this will allow you to start saving more and by eliminating your expense and keeping your costs as low as possible. This is the best way that you can continue to practice as you are trying to reach that financial and wealthy phase. Number 3 habit, live below your means. I'm mentioning this on this list because there's many of you will fall into trap by spending so much money on things that doesn't matter to you. There's nothing wrong with spending money on yourself, but you have to be mindful of your expense and keeping your expense as low as possible. Wealthy people stay wealthy is because they never spend more than they make. And the sooner you start teaching yourself this type of habit, the sooner you will reach and you will be on your way to the path toward wealth. This is the most critical thing you will need to do today is you gotta eliminate all those fancy things that you're living with. You gotta start, don't spend so much money on expensive car, don't spend much money on very bigger home or any other much expense things that you're buying. You gotta start staying with a low expense and try to keep your expense as low as possible. By doing this, this will allow you to be happier and to have lower expense, and you will be on your way toward that wealth. Number four, invest. Once you start saving money and you have enough money saved, the next step you want to be doing is you want to start looking into how you can multiply this money. And by doing this, you are able to go and invest in other assets. One of the best assets that you can invest and multiply your saving is you can invest, for example, in real estate. And that's exactly what I did a few years back. I continued to make money, and then I took all my money, or 20% of all my money that I was making, I was putting it into saving, and the remaining was into expense. So I spent around 2 years saving money. And then after having almost 20K in my bank, I was able to go and buy 100K property worth of property, and I put 20% down payment to buy that property. And once I did that, I turned that property into an Airbnb, and I can show a picture of that property right now. This property is generating 30K a year. So I spend 20K to take that money and invest in this property, and this property is generating 30K. Out of that 30K, I would say I take home around probably $15,000 in income. So you can imagine, in probably 2 years, I can get all my money back, and in the next upcoming years, I will continue to multiply my money again and again and again. That's exactly what I want you to do. Is after you have saving, you want to make sure how you can think of it, how you can multiply that money. And this is something that they don't teach in school or any other when you talk to family and friends. You gotta make money. The second step is you gotta start saving that money. And the third step, which is the most important thing, is you gotta start multiplying that money. And by doing this, you are on your way much faster to reach that financial freedom and wealth. Number five habit, you gotta start seeking multiple sources of income. If you wanna start boosting your personal finance and start reaching that wealthy phase, you gotta start finding different ways to start making money. Let's assume you already have your main job. So what you need to do is next is you're gonna start finding different side hustle that you can start making. Some of those which you may want to do is you can start selling any type of, like, for example, digital product that you can sell online, where there's a video I talk about it right here. Or you can invest in real estate. Or you can probably start utilizing some of your probably home. You can start rent it as an Airbnb, or maybe even your land. If you have any garage space that you're not using or any parking space you're not using, you can utilize that and kind of start making extra money by kind of listing your property or your land on these type of apps that you can start generating money. I recorded a video that will talk about how you can start kind of generating income using other passive income ideas, which I'll leave a link below right here. This type of side hustle that you can make, it will allow you to start saving more money, and it will allow you to start kind of finding ways you can use that money into investment. And this is the best way where you can continue to find ways to make money, and this will allow you to keep your expense low. Even if your expense increase a little bit, you have more money coming in. But always try to find ways to make more money by finding different sources of income that will allow you to kind of keep your costs low and increase your saving. Number 6 habit, which is invest in yourself. You know, this is one of the most important things that you can do is once you are in the phase where you start kind of already saving money, you start kind of investing. The most thing people, which is actually rich people, are doing today is they continue to invest in their self. So what I mean by that is they continue to kind of try to kind of learn a new skills. They try to kind of continue reading more books. And the reason why they're doing it is that because they continue to learn more about their finance, how they become good at their finance, how they can be able to kind of control of their finance, how they can find ways where they can invest and make more money. By continue and teaching yourself this type of habit, you will allow yourself to become more educated about finance and learn more about other investment or any other wealth that you can reach in the future. The more you educate yourself about finance, the more you become good at handling your finance. And that's the way to go, and this is the way you can start investing in yourself. It is not how much you earn, it's about how much you burn. And this would get us to number 7 on the list habit, which is you gotta monitor your expense and income. By doing this practice and monitoring your income every single time you make money, let's assume this month you made this amount of money. So you gotta start monitoring how much income can you make next month. How can you increase that income? The same thing goes with expense. If your expense this month was, let's say, $2,000, how can you start reducing that expense for the next month? How can you eliminate any type of subscription? How can you start eliminating any other, for example, debt you have to pay, or any kind of credit card interest rate that you are paying for today? So by doing this and teaching yourself this type of habit to start monitoring your income and monitoring your expense, this will lead you and help you to go to the right path toward wealth. If you fall behind on monitoring your income, and the same goes with expense, you will fall behind and knowing what your finance are. This is very important step of the way of you always, maybe every morning, maybe every 2 days, you gotta continue monitoring and watching your income and watch your expense. Number 8 on the list, keep your expense low. I have mentioned this multiple times during this video, but I want to mention this again, especially the last habit, because this is so important. If you continue to keep your expense as low as possible, you will allow yourself to continue to gain more wealth. You will allow yourself to gain more saving, and you can invest that money in things that matter the most for you and your family. Self-made millionaires were made millionaires because they become so good at keeping their expense so low. If you're spending so much things on, for example, going to gambling or any other activities that you're doing that does not have any much impact on your life, I would highly advise you that you can take that money and put it back into saving and use that saving that you already accumulate during this time and take that money and put it into investment. The more you start teaching yourself to invest in things that can multiply your income, the more you become good at your finance. Stay away from bad debt. For example, credit card, car loan, and any other high interest that you will need to pay. Bad debt typically has high interest and they don't have any much value down the road or any other asset that you can accumulate in the future. And the other side, good debt, for example, real estate. If you buy the property today as a real estate, for example, for 100K, probably in 5 to 6 to 7 years, this property will increase in value. Yes, you are paying debt. Yes, you are paying mortgage on it, but that considered as a good debt and not a bad debt. And that's why some of you may think, oh, investing or buying a real estate asset is really a bad debt. It's not. It's actually a good debt that will pay off down the road in the future. The bottom line is you gotta know what you are spending by the end of every single month. One best way you can start doing is you can create like a budget planner where you can find some of these budget planners on Etsy, and you can write down everything that you have, all the expense that you have, everything that your entertainment, movies, any traveling expense, any expense that you have all during the whole year. Put down everything, every single expense, and keep track of those expense. And of course, you gotta keep track of your income. I hope this video was helpful for you. No matter how obvious or simple these habits are, the best thing you can do is you gotta write down these habits that I mentioned, or even read other books about kind of finance habit that you're gonna practice. The most important thing you can do here is you gotta stick to these habits. Keep practicing, and keep doing the same thing. Make sure every month that you have check mark all these habits that you are practicing. By continuing doing this, this will help you to reach the path of wealth. And I do believe in you, and I believe in myself, and I believe in every one of you that we all can do this. All it takes is just practice and stick to these habits. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate if you can subscribe right here, give a thumbs up, and leave comment on which one of these habits you find is so helpful for you. And I would love to see you on the next video.